happy Christian mama. It is. But it's easier to connect to a personal brand than it is the macros and the keto. So the numbers, those are vanity metrics that aren't going to do anything. It's if they're engaging with you. Are they responding to you? Are they Instagram messaging you? Those are what you're looking for.
Yeah, my 259 friends when I first started with Plexus were more powerful than thousands of Instagram followers because they knew me and I knew them, and we had been interacting in great ways.
It worked out. You did okay.
Yeah. One more cool way to add value on Instagram that I've noticed that at first I was afraid to do is to share other people's content. And so we don't have to be the expert adding all this information. Sharing other people's content and giving shout outs to local businesses, that's an actual value add. Hey, I found these cool flowers here. I had this restaurant here. And if you tag these businesses or these other people that you're uplifting, they'll often reshare your material, which broadens your audience. Yep. And do you remember when Taylor Swift brought out like a famous person at each one of her concerts? Think of that. So what she did at her concerts, she would bring out a famous person, and it was really genius because she may have been uplifting them, but really she was gaining their audience too. Yep. And that's when her following skyrocketed, was when she highlighted other people. So don't be afraid to highlight even other Plexus ambassadors and that tagging, because that will get you into the right doors and the right audience. So that's a great way to add value. Tagging this hotel, tagging restaurants you go to in Maui, they will often reshare your content. Okay, so is there a place for us?
There's a place. There's a place for you.
I think I've probably asked you this, I don't know, at least 200 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a place. This actually, I understand that women, I grew up with sisters, we have a big, a large group of women, typically, we do, in Plexus. And something that brings out is insecurities, and especially on a visual platform like Instagram, it brings out comparison. And you start to say, oh, if I can't do this like she is, or I'm not gonna write copy like this girl, and my pictures don't look like hers, is there a place for me? Am I even going to be able to add value? And it reminds me of when I was living in Pennsylvania, and I was like this kind of new girl up there a few years ago, and they're like making bone broth and kombucha and colloidal silver in their kitchen. I was having trouble fitting it. And they were, so one day they were like, Rebecca, will you like take us shopping? And I was like, oh, yeah, I can do that. Okay, that's value. Okay. And so the only store in town was Big K, which was like a Kmart. And I was like, okay, we're gonna have to cross state lines. We're gonna go to the mothership that is TJ Maxx. And so I take them in, I introduce them to TJ Maxx, show them the lay of the land. And we're there, and I get them all in the dressing room. There's like 5 or 6. I'm so excited, big reveal, and they all start coming out, and I'm like, oh no. And we're all laughing because we realize what I've done, and that is I have dressed them all exactly like me. Like they've all come out, and I went, oops. Okay, so they all have like long cardigans and big earrings and taller boots, and we're all like, I'm 5'9", I put this like on someone that's 5'1", I'm going, that's not working. And so what I realized is that Instagram is kind of like that too. Like you see what's working for this person over here, and you go, oh, okay, I'll put that on. And then you see how they're talking, like their verbiage and stuff, and you go, oh, that's kind of working for them, I'm gonna put that on. But what happens to me, if I go and I order something online, or I take something off a mannequin, and then I get it home and I put it on, and I'm like, this is not me. This is not me. This is not working. And when I'm wearing something or trying to be something that's not me, I'm immediately insecure. I've lost my confidence. I'm not feeling it because I'm just not me. And so there's things that you can put out there that are you, and that, like Kristen said, it may feel like it's not a value add because it's so innate to you, but that is your value add. I had a lady call me, we were doing a coaching call a few weeks ago, and she's a senior gold on our team, and she's like early 60s, late 50s, right? She's somewhere in there, and she was like, right, I don't know if Instagram's for me. I don't know if I can do it. And just never going to be able to get one of those 22-year-old influencers over there. And she was just on and on about not being able to get the 20-year-old influencer. And finally I was like, you know what? You're probably not. Like, you're probably not going to get the 20-year-old influencer. But because she was trying to, that was who she was trying to target and who she was trying to talk to. Meanwhile, she's in this like sandwich generation where she's taking care of her aging parents. She's also kind of helping with grandkids. She's going to doctor's appointments for them. She's seeing her parents' health declining. She's got amazing health testimony. She uses her Plexus income. They've retired. They've got an RV. They travel around. And she has all this stuff that's so relatable to her network. And if she would stay in her lane and talk to those people, they are going to be like, oh, if she's doing that, then I can do that. Meanwhile, the 22-year-old probably isn't going to get my friend because they're not needing the same kind of things. They don't have the same desires. They don't have the same pain points. Their Plexus can be able to serve them. And so whenever you start to say, is there a place for me, go back to that ideal customer avatar, how you can speak directly to them. And so often, your ideal customer looks a lot like you. They're going to have a lot of those same pain points, desires, all those things. And so you're your best focus group. If you're thinking, oh, those long posts, I never hit see more, I don't want to read all that, then don't post it. If you're not going to read it, are they? Like if you're thinking, oh, I'm not going to respond to that, well, then they probably won't either. And so speak to how you would want to receive that as well, because you're a great focus group.
Well, I'm just thinking, man, like she might sign up her friend whose granddaughter is the 22-year-old influencer, right? And so, yeah, there's a lot of room for all of that. Okay, so there is a place for all of us on Instagram and on Facebook. All right, so as we are reaching out to these strangers and these new people, what is the most effective way to do it? Real quick and real honestly.
It's the Instagram stories. It is. It's going to be where people, I think too, that it's behind the scenes and no one knows if they've liked it or if they've commented. And it's always like a lot of times seemingly small things that just start a conversation. And then I'm willing to respond with a question and to talk to them. The Instagram poll, I know Emily Gibson has shared several times about those Instagram polls on the Jules pages. That is where it's at. That you've got a poll on there, you swipe up, you can see exactly who's voting, and then you start that conversation. Those have been huge for me. I was an English journalism major. I studied creative writing. I was a mommy blogger for years. Writing's probably one of my strong suits. I have never been able to craft a message on Facebook. I have lots of cold messages. On Instagram, because I already knew them. On Instagram, I cannot write a cold message to someone I don't know without it sounding spammy. I can't. And I reached out to a lot of Insta gurus in Plexus, Emily Roberts and Emily Gibson and Trisha and Bridget and Amber Miller, and said, am I off here? Like, are you doing that? And they all said, no, it's all in the stories. And so if you're wondering where to spend your time, it's those Instagram stories. If you never post on your feed, post on your Instagram stories.
So when you say reach out to people on your stories, is it the people looking at your stories and maybe the people responding to polls?
I really don't personally, but again, try what works for you. I don't really look at people that are viewing my stories and then reach out to them. Sometimes I've done that and then I've started following them and then I'm responding to their stories. But most likely they've interacted with me, so I know they're paying attention to me. And then I love Seth Godin says, marketing is a contest for people's attention. And so that's the biggest commodity on any kind of social media platform is attention. And so you've got to be there to get that.
So share yourself on your stories and ask for a contact back, which can mean polls, it can mean the swipe up, it can mean the quizzes and the questions.
Yes.
And then start a conversation from there. Best way for strangers?
That's right.
Okay. All right, final tips.
Okay, some of my just final tips would be consistency, that showing up often. Maybe you can just show up 1, 2, 3 times a week on the feed, if that's what you can, only thing you can commit to. I usually do 3 to 5 times a week on my wall. That's, again, it works for me. Try it for you. But I would say post daily in those stories. Those are the things that you're thinking about. I saw someone say the other day, Instagram stories should have a beginning, a middle, and an end. That you're not just kind of just kind of think, is there something I can tell here that's a little funny story, or it's a little behind the scenes? Familiar is a really powerful thing. When you're kind of familiar with someone, just their day to day, it creates connection. When a lot of times the funniest things people say are just because it relates to you on a really familiar, relatable level. Like that quote the other day when we were sharing about marriage is basically pointing out your spouse is always on his phone during the small window that you're not on yours. You know, it's funny because it's relatable and familiar to you. And so things
I don't know
like
about that. I'm a newlywed.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But just get ready. It's coming.
Okay. I'll watch it.
But also, I would say hashtags. That hashtags can improve the engagement on your posts like 12 to 20%, depending on how many hashtags you're using and which ones you're using, and getting more eyeballs there. If you're like, I have no idea about hashtags, I wrote a blog on my website about that a couple of weeks ago, and that's just kind of a starting place on hashtags. So using hashtags appropriately on your post. Planning out your content, that you're not, even if it's a week in advance, that you just kind of know, here's where I'm going to post this. I like to do mine 30 days out so that I can see, okay, my family's doing this, I'm going to do this here, I'm going to do, these are my big Plexus posts this month, here's what I'm going to talk about that. It's just hard if you're on a date night, or you're at the park with your kids, or you're on a field trip, or whatever, and then you're trying to get that perfect picture, and then write this perfect caption, and then think of the hashtags and all those things, and you're totally out of the moment, and it's taking you 30 minutes, and it's not your best work, and put some effort into this. Wait till you get home, you're in a better place. It's okay if that post happened 2 or 3 days before. No one knows. No one cares. And make sure it's your best work to put on there. That really helps. And Instagram stories. Sometimes I'll take pictures all day and then I'll load them all at one time at night. That's totally fine. If that helps you to give more quality content, then do that. The last thing would be turn the camera around and talk to it on those Instagram stories. It's a great place if you're struggling with the confidence part, no one's going to know how many people looked at that or saw it or engaged with it or liked it or commented, anything like that. And so it's a great place to, and it's going to be gone in 24 hours. Yep. No one knows. So that's where you need to kind of start out and go there. But that video creates big time connection. And then my tip on that is that the last statistic I saw the last couple of months, I think, was 80% of content is consumed with the sound off. And so if you're doing all these videos and it's just you talking, and most people are sitting there in a waiting room or at work or sitting next to their kids watching TV or under the covers while their husband's asleep, they can't turn the sound on. And so if you can, when you post those videos, go back over it with a little caption and either one, put something that creates curiosity so they want to turn the sound on, or it makes them come back and watch it later, or it just kind of guides them through the main idea. It's going to keep them clicking through, and you're putting content on there, and so what are you saying? And so that it's continuing to connect. So just know, most of the things you're putting on there, they're not ever going to hear you say it, but if you can keep them engaged through those subtitles that aren't real subtitles, but you're just kind of adding some tips there, that's helpful. And then the last thing that I just want to say is something that my mom, she and my kiddos are there today, which is really extra fun this year, that she called me a few months ago, we were just on the phone, and then she just kind of randomly said this little thing. She was like, oh, and guess what? The Lord has been telling me this new thing. And I was like, well, do tell. And so she said, I think that he's showing me how fear stifles creativity. And I was like, that was very interesting. And so I just kind of chewed on that for a couple days. And one place that I'm seeing that really show up is on Instagram with people that I'm talking to. And Instagram is kind of a creative platform. right? You're taking pictures, you're writing, your thoughts, you're kind of being vulnerable a lot of the times. And so if you're coming onto Instagram and you're struggling with insecurity and confidence, or, oh, gotta hurry and get over there and get all these new people so that my business is gonna stay afloat, scarcity, and all these different things, it is squelching all of your creativity and all the good. And so just kind of ask yourself, why am I scared to show up there? Why am I not confident that I can add value, that there's a place for me on there? Because the people in this room should be the most empowered to go out and share about Plexus, and the most excited to say, look what Plexus can do for you. We are the keeper of the stories and all the good things that can bring so many people into Plexus. And so I challenge you to go out and say, I'm going to post for the next 30 days. We definitely have a lot of free things that we can be sharing, and exciting things that can hopefully open a lot more doors for us. And I just know that you can do it. I love, every time I meet someone new here, I'm like, that was such a high quality, cool person. And so I know there's so much good in this room, and I just can't wait to see how you share it.
Aw.